Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to Decentering Men, episode 11. One of you guys in my comments section asked an amazing question, and you said, what things can I focus on besides centering men? Like, what other things can you begin to focus on as a woman once you have fully decentered men? Like, what else am I going to think about? And I think that question is very common because as women, we have been taught to do everything in our lives so that we can attract a man. Get in shape so you can attract a man. Get a good job so you can attract a man who thinks you're smart. Learn how to cook so you can cook for a man. Learn how to do your hair so that a man treats you better because of pretty privilege. Make sure that you're healthy so that you can be fertile and birth a man's babies. So I think that it is very easy to feel kind of like empty when you're in a place in your life where you have centered men in the past and suddenly you're no longer centering them. I remember when I first started my decentering men journey, I used to think that all of the excitement in my life came from being with a man or being pursued by a man or like dating a man and kind of having those feelings of adrenaline, like, oh, he likes me, oh, he's looking at me. And so I thought that if I decentered men, that all of the excitement in life would just go away. And that is just a part of how we've been socialized as women. We have been taught that all of our fulfillment and all of the excitement we will ever have in life only comes from being seen as desirable by men or being chased by a man. So a few of the things that I started to focus on more when I decentered men was, first of all, getting my health back in order. So I've noticed that for me personally, there's always been a pattern of me being in a bad relationship and mental illnesses and physical illnesses. When I look back on the times in my life when I felt the most insecure, usually it was when I was in a relationship. When I look back at the times in my life when I was the least ambitious, usually it was because I was focusing all of my energy into a relationship. When I look back at the times when I was the most unhealthy, like eating a bunch of junk food and going out to eat all the time, it was when I was in a relationship. So one of the things that I was able to center and focus on once I stopped thinking so much about guys was getting my health back on track. So for example, when it comes to things like dating, like let's say you want to meet some guys and stuff like that, that actually takes up a lot of time because you have to spend the time, whether it's on the dating app or going to whatever social group you're going to and meeting the guy. You have to spend hours getting to know him. You're spending hours getting ready. And then you're spending all of the background time on kind of improving your looks and stuff so that you can impress him. So you're doing all these deep conditioning hair treatments and you're like changing up your hairstyle. You're trying to watch all of these tutorials on how to do a smoky eye and how to like look at a man seductively. So I personally believe that women tend to invest a lot more time and emotional energy into attaining a relationship and keeping a relationship. So once all of that time is freed up, you can spend that time on focusing on your own health. So for example, I now cook for myself almost every single day because I don't have to worry about, oh, I have to like spend all this time on dating apps. I have to spend all this time like trying to get attention or whatever. Or, I have to post all of these pictures on Instagram because you never know, like a guy could see me on Instagram and he could like me or whatever. So I have to edit all these pics and spend hours on Facetune. I don't have to worry about that. So I actually have time now to go to the grocery store, buy the exact healthy foods that I've wanted to cook, come home, put those vegetables in the oven, have roasted vegetables for dinner, and like think about ways that I can improve my health. Another thing that I was able to focus on, one of the best decisions I ever made when it came to decentering men, was I began to become consistent on this YouTube channel. I was able to spend more time doing my passion, which is content creation. I would not be sitting here today recording this video. I would have never been able to become a full-time content creator if I had not decentered men. Because the first 2 years that I was on this YouTube channel, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was still being male-centered because I would ditch recording videos and editing videos. I would ditch all that so that I could like spend extra time with a guy or, just go out to eat and then go crash at his place or something or, just hang out and talk for a long time. And then I would go through these breakups and things like that. And I would look up and after the breakup, I had nothing left. because that man started to gradually take over my life. I started to gradually center my entire life around him. So I would stop doing my own hobbies. I would stop doing my own passions because I was investing more time into, oh, how can I get to know him more? How can I make sure that we're ready for marriage? How can I make sure that I ask him the right questions? Oh, I have to read all of these relationship books so that I can make sure that I am knowledgeable on how to handle conflict well. So I was spending all of these extra hours per week on investing into a relationship when in reality, men don't do that. They will be in a whole marriage with you and have never read a marriage book in their lives. Men will be in entire marriages for decades and they will have never even thought about, oh, how can I be better at conflict resolution? No, most men don't even think about things like that until after they get into the conflict, until after the wife threatens to leave them or something like that. So now, if I'm in a situation where I'm like talking to a guy or whatever, I no longer put extra behind the scenes energy into the relationship because I know that on average, men are not doing that for us women. For most guys, as soon as you're out of their sight, you're out of their mind. They're not thinking, oh, what is Sarah doing right now? Oh, she looked so cute earlier. You know what? I'm just going to listen to music and kind of daydream about her. And you know what? I'm going to practice how I'm going to wear my hair for the next time I see her. Men don't think like that on average, but you know who does think like that? Us women. Women will literally practice our makeup in the mirror 25,000 times so that we can get the perfect smoky eye for the next time Tyrone sees us. We will try on 50 to 100 outfits and spend hours looking in the mirror so that the next time Tyrone sees us, we catch his eye. Men on average are not doing that. They're not spending 3 hours trying to get the perfect pair of jeans that makes their butt look good so that they can get your attention. No, a lot of men have this attitude of take me or leave me. This is what I'm offering. Either you want it or you don't. Either you give me what I want or get out. I've noticed a lot of men have that mindset. So as women, we need to keep that same energy. A lot of people have this mindset of how are you going to have fun if you don't have a relationship? And I feel like people only have that mindset because in their mind, they are so romantic relationship centered to the point where they genuinely believe that the ultimate happiness can only come from a romantic relationship. You cannot have that same level of happiness with anything else. You cannot have that same level of happiness doing any other hobbies. And I can tell you, as someone who has been formerly married, I can tell you that even the happiest moments in my marriage, such as my wedding day, this is when I was happy in my relationship. I have experienced that level of happiness with other things that don't have to do with a relationship. So it is possible to find fulfillment in life outside of just romance. It is possible to have a sense of passion for something else other than just a man. So for me personally, I have a passion for content creation. So that's something you can center besides a man. You can center your passions. Is there anything that you've always wanted from the time you were a little girl? It could be the craziest thing. Is there anything you've always wanted to do, but like you've never done it because maybe you haven't had the time to get around it, or maybe life has kind of stressed you out and relationships have stressed you out? What would you be doing if money didn't exist? Would you be starting a fashion line? Would you be doing makeup? Would you be a travel agent? Would you buy your own hotel or create your own bed and breakfast? Would you be homesteading or farming? Those are the types of things that you can begin to put at the center of your life when you are not distracted by a guy. So I personally believe that we as women, I believe humans in general, have the capacity to be multifaceted. So there are other aspects of you as a human being besides just who you are romantically and sexually. And I also think that sometimes when people see decentering men content, they think that there's only one way to decenter men. So they think that like the content means, oh, you just have to be a lesbian, you just have to be asexual. That's not what I'm trying to say on this channel. Like if you want to still have sex with guys or whatever, then do that. But the point is that you're supposed to be getting what you want. So if you want to have sex, then have sex. But if you don't want to have sex, do not have sex because you are hoping that it will lead to you being fulfilled later on. So I just want women to be in a place where they are getting what they want. And I feel like for too long, women have been getting the short end of the stick in relationships. And they've been getting the short end of the stick when dealing with men in general. So one thing you can center is the passions that you had before that man came in and screwed your life up. You can focus on improving yourself because I'm sure that before you got into a relationship with a man, you were once single. So what were you doing when you were single? Weren't you improving yourself. I mean, I would hope that you were somehow improving yourself already. So whether that's getting your physical health in shape or getting your learning how to cook healthy meals for yourself. Maybe you've always wanted to decorate your bedroom or decorate your apartment a certain way and make it look beautiful just for you. And maybe you've always wanted to have a super girly bedroom and stuff and to have like the perfect decorations. That is something that you can begin to center and focus on. One thing that I have started doing for myself in my 30s was I started looking back at who I was as a little girl, like 7 years old, and I started thinking of her and thinking of what she dreamed of doing. And one of the things that I was always passionate about when I was a little girl was fashion and wardrobe and like having cute clothes on. But I felt like as time went on, that passion that I had for like wearing beautiful items and stuff, it started to become male centered. So it went from, oh, I like stuff that's pink and fluffy to, oh no, I want it to be black and skin tight and I want some studs on it or something so that it draws attention to my butt. And so that's an example of how a lot of times the pure desires that you may have had as a little girl, it becomes male centered as you get brainwashed by patriarchy. So one thing that I had started focusing on when I stopped centering men so much was I started focusing on curating the perfect wardrobe for myself in my 30s, because this is the first time where I will actually have the money to be able to do it. It's the first time where it's like my wardrobe is not centered around what does a guy think of this. So I literally can wear onesie pajamas. I've always been into onesie pajamas, but I know that that's like not sexy or whatever. So I used to not really wear onesie pajamas whenever I was hanging out with a guy. But it's like, yes, I can invest in as many onesie pajama sets as I want to. I can like wear whatever I want to wear. And it's really about going back to the girl you were before all of those insecurities came into you that were kind of birthed from who you are in the eyes of men. So for example, I know that with me personally, I like to change up my hairstyles and I like to do unnatural hairstyles. So I'm talking purple extensions. I'm talking like, something that it's not always considered the standard of beauty, but I had been told by other women, oh, well, guys don't like it when girls have like a streak of blue in their hair. Guys don't like it when girls have like these funny, crazy wigs on. Guys don't really like it when girls do like cosplaying and stuff like that. That's kind of like dorky and weird. Guys like it when girls are more sexy and they look very natural and effortless. So you shouldn't be wearing that stuff. And that kind of suppressed my natural desire to express myself because I was becoming influenced by people who wanted to convince me to center my life around the male gaze. So something you can focus on once you've decentered men is you get to take back all of those pieces of yourself that you threw away because you were trying to impress a guy. Maybe there is a certain gift or talent that you have, but you've always been too shy to show it because maybe the guys around you thought it was lame or stupid. Like, for example, maybe you like singing opera music. I don't know of a lot of guys that like opera music. Most guys I know like, rock music or pop or hip hop or something. So maybe that was something that you've always liked, but you've never really embraced that side of yourself because you were afraid that whatever guy you were around wouldn't really value that and wouldn't find that attractive. Maybe you've always wanted to play a certain instrument, but the guys around you, they weren't interested in girls who were like the band geeks. And so you decided to not be the band geek anymore. Well, now that you've decentered men, you get to go back to being a band geek if that's what you want to be. Another thing that happened with me was I used to suppress being sexy because I was always taught from my Christian background that men don't like when women are sexy, men like it when a woman is wholesome. Turns out that was false, obviously. But for me, I used to not wear crop tops or bikinis and stuff like that because I was taught that, oh no, like no man will ever want to marry you. No man will ever want to date you or take you seriously if you wear a bikini because that's not modest. So you shouldn't wear that. But now that I've decentered men, I wear whatever the fuck I want to wear. I can wear as skimpy of clothes as I want to wear. I can wear the baggiest clothes I want to wear. I can wear the dorkiest, nerdiest clothes I want to wear. I literally can dress like I'm freaking 12 years old if I want to and wear like an oversized hoodie and 2 braids in my hair if that's what I want to do because I'm no longer centering the male gaze. So that's something else you can focus on is self-expression. Expressing your shadow self, or like the pieces of yourself that you used to hide when you were around men. By the way, be sure to get my Dark Femininity course if you haven't already. I will have that linked in the description because I talk all about this in the Dark Femininity course. Another thing that you can begin to focus on once you have decentered men is you can finally focus on healing and maybe processing emotions that you didn't have time to process when you were busy being a married single mother, or you were busy in a marriage, or you were busy trying to raise a grown man. It's very hard to have time for self-reflection when you're so busy focusing on someone else. So I remember in the last relationship I was in, the guy that I was with had serious mental illnesses. And I remember literally like reading books about his mental illness, trying to figure out how to support him. So I was wasting my time and hours and energy on trying to support him. And now that he's gone, I get to spend all of those hours reading books on how to fix my mindset, or how to, overcome PTSD, how to heal anxiety, how to make sure that you are eating the right foods so that you have proper blood flow to the brain. Those are the types of books that I get to spend my time reading now, instead of spending all of my time basically studying how to support a man. Have you ever noticed that? A lot of the audience of people who buy relationship books are women. Relationship books are only marketed towards women. I've only ever heard of women going on a book haul and they're reading all relationship books. How to get a man, how to keep a man, how to get him to like you, how to think like a man, how to center a man, how to seduce a man, how to look at a man, how to change a man's opinion of you. This is all male-centered. But once I stopped centering guys, I was able to read books about how to understand myself better, or read books to get educated about something that could help me in some way. And it was only for me. I got to be completely selfish with the type of knowledge I was gaining, as opposed to constantly trying to acquire knowledge only so I can help and build a man up mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally. Another amazing side effect that happened with me when it came to decentering men was I was able to make female friends again. So I didn't realize that in the past, a lot of my conflicts with women were coming from a guy. So maybe like some girl, she was my friend and then she thought I was trying to talk to her guy, or like she wanted a particular guy's attention and then maybe I got his attention. So then she didn't like me. All of this shit was around men. So once I decentered them, I was able to hang out with other women who also had the same passions as me. So those things that I talked about, maybe like creating content and stuff like that. And I was able to, in real life, meet other women who are like content creators and who also like the same stuff as me. And I was able to create real, genuine friendships. And now I get to do so many fun activities that I would have never been able to do with my ex. Like I literally remember arguing with an ex-boyfriend one time about going on a walk at the park. Like literally, I would have to argue back and forth and practically beg just to go on a walk at the park. Now I have girlfriends that we can go to the park anytime. We can go see Christmas lights. We're actually going to see Christmas lights next week. We might go ice skating one of these days. We may go see a Disney princess movie one of these days. When the Barbie movie came out, we all dressed up as Barbie dolls and we all wore pink and like took pictures and put them on Instagram and stuff. And we all went to see the Barbie movie together and we like got popcorn and all that. So one of the ways that I was able to make those friends was by decentering men. So instead of like spending all of my time with XYZ new guy, I was able to have the extra time to like meet girls and go to all of these groups in my city that were focused around my passions. And that was how I was able to build all of these genuine friendships. So a lot of the reason that I wanted a man, and part of the reason I was centering men or whatever, was because I wanted excitement and adventure and novelty in my life. So for me personally, one of my favorite things about dating is, well, still to this day, one of my favorite things is like, being taken out and experiencing new things and going on vacations and, going ice skating or roller skating or bike riding and doing all of these fun things around the city, whatever those things may be. But one thing I realized was that I can still do that without having to be in a romantic relationship. So when I made friends, they liked that stuff on the same level as me. And they were just as enthusiastic as I was about those things, versus in the past, the guy was only taking me ice skating because he wants to fuck me, or the guy was only going to the park with me because I badgered him and begged him and nagged him to go to the park. Now I have people that love going with me to the park, or they love going to concerts with me, or to salsa dancing classes and stuff like that. And they're just as excited and just as enthusiastic as I am. And it actually makes the experience a lot better. And that's something I never would have known, because before, I was kind of depending on a man to bring all of the fun and excitement into my life. So I was basically like giving my power away. And that is something that a lot of women are taught. We are kind of taught that like the highest level of fun and excitement only can come from a romantic relationship. And that's false. You can travel by yourself and still have fun. By the way, I've done that before too. I tried doing that. I did that in college multiple times. And if you just are constantly waiting around for a guy, then you're just never going to be able to live your life to the fullest, because you're literally putting your whole life on pause in hopes that this guy, who may or may not even exist, will somehow find you and pick you. And, you're reading all of these books on how to get his attention, how to keep his attention, how to make sure he doesn't look at other women, how to essentially emotionally manipulate him into doing what you want him to do. But it's like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life, I don't want to spend the next 80 years of my life having to claw and nag and argue about simple activities. I would rather center my own desires and navigate my life from a place of authenticity where I am truly doing all of the things I want to do because I love doing those things. Another thing that improved in my life that I was able to focus on when I was not centering men is getting back into kind of festive stuff. So like baking cookies and then like having a dinner party with friends. Like I said, I'm going to multiple Christmas parties. And, just kind of focusing on those girly things where I feel like if I would have centered a man, most men on average, unless he's a chef or something, or a decorator, most men are not like, oh my God, yeah, I want to like decorate the whole house and make it Christmassy. And then I want to like bake Christmas cookies. And then I want to have a girly party where we like have a secret Santa. And then we all wear like pajamas and then we all dress up in red. Usually most guys aren't as enthusiastic about things like that. And so decentering men helped me to refocus basically on feminine things, or things where I felt like I was expressing my femininity. I no longer felt like my femininity was suppressed. I guess that's the best way to describe it. So I could now spend more time doing makeup simply because I love doing makeup just for me. Not, oh, well, he only likes when I wear a black smoky eye. He doesn't like when I do a green smoky eye. No, now I can do a freaking green smoky eye, yellow smoky eye, orange smoky eye. I can look like a clown, for God's sakes, and nobody cares, because I am not centering the male gaze. I am simply doing what I feel is fun and expressing myself in whatever way I see fit. And also, another thing that I was able to focus on was self-love and self-forgiveness. So for example, whenever I used to make a mistake around a man, I would feel extra shamed for it. So for example, let's say I wear the clown makeup. I have had bad makeup days as a teenager and like in my early 20s and stuff when I didn't really know how to do makeup. So I've had bad makeup days, but I always felt extra ashamed if I had a bad makeup day in front of a guy I liked. You know what I mean? Because I felt like, oh crap, I didn't fulfill my duty. I was supposed to look pretty and effortless and glowy, and I was supposed to look like this walking princess, and he thinks that I look ugly. So I used to feel this sense of rejection whenever a guy didn't appreciate the way that I looked, or whenever I made a mistake around a guy, especially when it had to do with beauty. I used to feel a sense of rejection. But now that I've decentered men, let's say I have a bad makeup day, let's say I have a bad outfit day or a bad hair day, I no longer feel that same sense of rejection because I don't have anyone I'm trying to impress. So you can actually do this and still be talking to guys if you want to. It's like, even with the guy you're talking to, you're not trying to actively impress him. Like, oh, I have to make sure my makeup is slayed 24/7. I have to make sure everything is slayed 24/7. I'm like, no, take me or leave me. This is who I am. If you don't like it, kick rocks. So that is something else I've been able to center since decentering guys. I've been able to center like that sense of experimenting. I can experiment again, and I don't have anyone kind of like breathing down my neck, or, I don't feel that sense of, oh shit, I'm trying out a new style. I better make sure it works so that Tyrone is impressed by it. Oh shit, I'm trying this new business. I better make sure that my boyfriend is impressed by it because he's going to be my future husband. We're going to be going 50-50. So, he better be impressed by my new business. I no longer have that mindset. I can 100% guarantee you that if I were in a state of mind right now where I was trying to be chosen to be someone's wife, I sure as hell would not be on YouTube. Because that's not usually what a guy's looking for in a wife. He's not looking for somebody who creates content. Usually a guy, when he's looking for a wife, he's looking for someone who can cook, clean, someone who can do all these domestic duties on his behalf. So that's another thing I've been able to center since Decentering Men. I've been able to recenter my own passions, do my own business, because I don't have to worry about being seen as this domestic queen or this domesticated housewife. I no longer have to live up to any of those expectations anymore. So it's like a weight off of my shoulders. Another thing that I've been able to center since Decentering Men is I've actually started to have a better relationship with my family now. So my mom, my dad, my grandma, my aunt and uncle, and my brothers. I've been able to have a better relationship with them. With my sister, I've had more time to talk to them. We went on a vacation recently. I was able to hang out with them more. That is not something that I would have gone out of my way to do in the past, because in the past, I used to be so male-centered to the point where I literally didn't want to go on a vacation too long because I was scared that a guy would potentially cheat on me or lose interest in me. If I went on a vacation for too long. And now, since Decentering Men, I can go on a vacation as long as I want. Whether a guy wants to talk to me or not, I'm still going on my vacation. Whether a guy wants to be around me or not, I can still go on my vacation. I will still hang out with my family. And if he F's it up somehow, or if he loses interest, okay, bye. I don't care. Because I don't expect the same amount of stuff that I used to expect from guys in the first place. So that's actually another thing that I've been able to center since Decentering Men. I've been able to actually see things so much more clearly, to the point where I'm actually not even mad at men. I actually interact with guys better now than I did before, because all the anxiety is gone. All the expectations I used to put on men are gone because I know their nature. So it's I no longer expect oh my God, you're not being a gentleman. Oh my God, you didn't talk to me like this. Oh my gosh, you didn't text me today. Why didn't you text me? You didn't call me back. What's wrong with you? Nope. I no longer expect that. If a guy doesn't call me back or text me, or if he talks to me the wrong way, I'm just okay, bye. I was never expecting you to be around anyway. Okay, so bye. So I no longer have that disappointment, I guess, that I used to have in the past. I no longer have the anger that I used to have in the past, because my former anger that I would have in terms of romantic relationships, or the anger that I used to have if a man would disappoint me, that was all based on me having put an expectation on him. So I expected him to be Prince Charming. I expected him to always do everything right, or say everything right, or do things 90% right. So when he did only 80% of things right, or 70% of things right, I used to get super pissed off, because I was deep down inside, I had a fantasy that I wanted to be fulfilled, but I didn't realize that it was a fantasy. I thought that what I wanted was just plain cold hard facts. Men are supposed to be XYZ all the time. Men are going to be XYZ all the time. And so when I kept getting disappointed by men over and over, whether it was in a relationship or, the way a guy treated my friend, let's say my friend was dating a guy, seeing how he would treat her, or the way a guy would treat my family member, seeing my uncles or whoever treat women badly, I used to have more of a sense of disappointment. I used to have more of a sense of rejection, more of a sense of anger. But now I am so emotionally free, because I'm no longer expecting a man to somehow fulfill a desire that I have. There's no desire that a man can take away from me anymore. So in the past, I used to get pissed off. Let's say a guy cheats or whatever. I would get pissed off because I'm oh my God, I'm not just grieving the man. I'm grieving the lost future that I was going to have with that man. I'm grieving all of the fantasies that I had of us getting married, us having kids, us having a wedding, us going on honeymoon, me and you cooking dinner together, us getting old together, us working out together, and we're both in our 70s, us retiring together, us going on cruises together. I no longer have that level of grief anymore because I don't have those fantasies anymore. I don't have those expectations anymore. I don't even have that on my radar anymore. So let's say a guy ghosts or something. If a guy were to ghost me today, I wouldn't even think anything of it. In fact, this has actually happened to me before since Decentering Men. A guy ghosted me one time because he was trying to pressure me into being his girlfriend and getting married to him and stuff. And I basically was like, oh, no thanks. And then he didn't text me back. Like he never hit me up again after that. And I was so decentered at that point that I forgot. Like I didn't even notice like I forgot to block him. Usually I'd get super angry and I would be like, oh, F you. You know, I would respond maybe, or I don't know, I would try to express my anger or kind of give a lecture or something like the past me. But I was so decentered to where I had forgot. And so I was just literally living my best life. I remember I like went to the mall that week. I went to a workout class that week. I was like doing Pilates and stuff that week. And then a week later he texted me and was like, hey, like what happened? Like you never texted me after I didn't text you. Like I did that on purpose to get your attention. And basically you didn't like text me after I ignored you. And I didn't even respond to that message because I was like, wow, like I literally am so decentered at this point to where I don't even play those games anymore. There's no more mind games. I don't have to worry about all these mind games and manipulation anymore, like how I used to. In the past, I would be like, oh, well, you know, let me try to wait 4 hours. Let me try to wait 8 hours to text him back because he waited 1 hour to text me back. So now I'm mad at him. So I need to teach him a lesson. I no longer feel the obligation to teach men lessons, to try to raise a man, to try to like convince him of anything. Nope, I no longer have any of those expectations. I have been able to center my own peace. That's another thing that I've been able to center since Decentering Men is I have so much more peace now because my mind genuinely doesn't even think about, you know, what's this guy doing? What is he thinking of me? Is he thinking about me? Like, when's he going to text me? When's he going to ask me out? Oh my God, when is he going to ask me to be his girlfriend? Nope, I'm genuinely just like, okay, so what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Oh, I think I'm going to do asparagus tonight. What do I want to cook tomorrow? Oh, that sounds good. You know what? I saw that there's a model casting going on. Maybe I want to like try doing a fashion show or something. You know what? Actually, I think I want to try acting or something. Let me try this acting class over here. Oh, wow, they have yoga class? That sounds like so much fun. Let me see if my friends want to go to this salsa class this week. So my thoughts are now much more positive in general. That's another thing that I've been able to center since decentering, guys, is literally my mental health. I never realized that 90% of my mental health problems, depression, anxiety, PTSD, they were all linked to relationships. Because anytime I had those symptoms, I was always in a long-term relationship that was starting to like become toxic. Every single time. And I never noticed it until I had decentered, guys. And then I was like, wait a minute. Why am I like happier when I wake up? I like randomly have more energy now. Oh my God. I'm like, I have never thought this clearly ever in my life. I've never had so many creative ideas. I'm actually a very creative person. I never thought I was creative because I would spend all of my creativity on how to convince a guy to do XYZ, how to get this guy to listen to me, how to say things and word things in a way to where he will understand it, how to get him to take out the trash. I never realized that I actually had so much creativity in me. I had so much knowledge. I had so much to give, but all of that energy was being usurped by men trying to, you know, use me as their secretary, as their personal therapist. You guys know how much I love psychology and sociology. Do you know how many men I've had trying to use me as their personal 24/7 therapist to help cure their anxieties, to help cure their bipolar, to help cure their depression, their PTSD, or whatever their mental illnesses are? Guess what? Now I get to use all of that psychology knowledge, all of that sociology knowledge. I can use all of that on myself. I can use all of that to literally level up to social climb. That's another thing I've been able to center since decentering men. I can actually social climb now. When I say social climb, I mean you are elevating in your status, whether it's financially, whether it's the types of friends you have, whether it's the type of men you do date, if you choose to still date. I've been able to level up in so many areas. Like I never would have gone from working a 9 to 5 to now working for myself if I would have been centering men. I would have never even had the capacity or the time to even organize how am I going to run my day? Okay, what content am I going to make for the next 30 days? Like, okay, when do I have time to respond to contents? Okay, when do I have time to edit? What softwares do I need to edit? Those things were not even a thought in my head when I was being cheated on. Those things were not even a thought in my head when I was going through a divorce or, thinking about this guy not texting me back or I'm trying to get ready for this date or, oh shit, my makeup got messed up. Now this guy is going to think I'm ugly. Oh my gosh, I don't look good from this angle. This guy's going to think that I have a big nose or a big chin or a big forehead or whatever. I don't even have any of those thoughts anymore. So for all the people who say that women who want to leave their marriages and stuff, that they just have the grass is greener syndrome, that's what I used to think too. And I used to be scared out of my mind to leave relationships and stuff like that. I was the type of person that would fight for a relationship because I felt like, number one, that's what a good woman does or whatever. So I was doing it to try to prove to the guy that I'm a good person, even though guys would literally be cheating or, treating you like shit basically. But I no longer do that because you know what I realized? The grass absolutely is greener when you as a woman are more mentally healthy, when you don't have all of this emotional baggage weighing you down. It's funny because a lot of men, they don't want a woman who has dealt with a lot of men because even men understand that men cause emotional baggage. Have you ever noticed how when people use the term emotional baggage, most of your emotional baggage comes from men. It comes from dealing with bad relationships, getting cheated on, getting abused, arguing too much. He's throwing stuff at you. You're throwing stuff at him. You're being taken out of character. He's lying on you. You're calling his phone. All of that comes from your relationships with guys, and it comes from centering guys and making them your entire world to the point where, all of your happiness is wrapped up in him. All of your excitement in life is wrapped up in him. All of your achievement in life is just wrapped up in, okay, I'll just get married and that shows that I achieved something. Oh, okay, well, I want a man so I can buy a house with him so I can, have a big wedding. It's so funny because I actually have a friend who wears a wedding ring. And she says that she has married herself. So she's not with a guy or anything. She's literally decentered guys or whatever as well. And she wears a wedding ring and she has centered herself. And she's doing modeling now. She has her own side business where she's making all these commissions and stuff like that. And she's just living her best life. Anyway, those are some of the things that I have been able to center since decentering guys. What are some of the ways that you have seen an increase in your mental health since no longer centering men? Have you been able to focus more on your career, focus more on your mental health, focus more on your skincare routine, maybe caring for pets or plants or traveling more? Maybe it's developing friendships with women or restoring relationships with your family. Maybe you've been able to move out of the city that you lived in because you only lived there because of a guy. So maybe you've been able to move to a totally new place or, spend your money on things that you actually want as opposed to spending your money on a man or spending money to impress a man. I know that's something that helped me. I was able to save so much more money once I was no longer married. And I'm not trying to throw shade towards marriage, but for me personally, my expenses and my finances got so much better to the point where I was able to quit my job and start a side business, which is now my full-time job. I was able to do that after I got a divorce. I thought you were supposed to be poor and broke and destitute after getting a divorce. What happened? I was able to spend my money on things that could increase and elevate my lifestyle and kind of raise my own status or whatever, as opposed to, oh, well, my husband wants me to spend money on this. My husband wants me to spend money on that. Nope. I have full control and full reign over my entire life. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.